Hello, strangers. I'm on the road again. And I don't know, I wanted to kind of talk about an issue that came up in what little time I can, and, you know, maybe show a little bit of the scenery that I'm driving through, maybe at the same time. I happen to be going down the 101 freeway here between Santa Barbara and Ventura, so maybe every once in a while I'll alright, there we go. I'll move the camera out so you know, occasionally you guys can you know, see some of the scenery around here, the wonderful little coastal range mountains and stuff like that. But I had a bit of an exchange with a person, a friend on Facebook, and they talked about, you know, has anybody, and, you know, I think the person is Filipino or something like that. It is, you know, has anybody experienced, you know, racism and stuff, and or sexism or anything like that? And, you know, she's Filipino, you know, it's a female and Filipino, so obviously she's experienced all sorts of kinds of stuff, and of course, you know, many of her friends and such have also done. And, you know, I'm white as a sheet. I'm male. I'm severely privileged. I understand that. I do know. You know, I know nothing really of what it's like to experience what people who, you know, are not me have gone through. And, you know, and I honestly, it angers me every time I see stuff on the news about, you know, all the various ways in which people of color, you know, just to, you know, give it a nice blanket term there, are, you know, discriminated against and whatever, or, you know, women in general are discriminated against just for no other reason than, you know, the color of their skin, or their ethnicity, or their religion, or the gender, or whatever. You know, I have felt very little to none of that, and I you know, and I kind of said that when I commented in her particular thread. You know, maybe I shouldn't have commented at all, but when I commented, you know, I kind of prefaced it with the fact that, you know, yeah, I've got the white male privilege of not having to deal with a lot of that stuff, and yet at the same time, I have been in situations, I feel, where I have been discriminated. I've had the reverse pulled on me. Number one, you know, I was, or at least I attempted to be, a teacher in Southern California, and you know, there's a whole bunch of Hispanics around me, and I felt that as a white male going into, in particularly in one school, 90% Hispanic, of all sorts of varying shades. There were kids in there with Spanish last names that were just as white as I am, and there were kids in there that were a whole lots of shades darker, you know, and everything in between. So, but, you know, white guy walking into that classroom, I kind of felt that, you know, as much as those kids, every time they acted up, they said, well, you're just being racist towards us. Well, no, I'm getting on your case because you're being a brat. I'm getting, you know, on your case because you're breaking the rules and stuff. I'm not being racist, you're breaking the rules. And if anything, I felt that those kids were being racist towards me. You know, and in some cases, some of the people, some of the teachers even that I kind of worked with, sympathized more with the students than with the person that was trying to teach them. So, I kind of felt, that sting coming back towards me. And the other instance that I can cite, I worked for a nonprofit, which I will not mention, but and my job there was to call business people, business owners, managers, public officials, whatever, and try to get them to volunteer some time to come down to an event that we're holding in their particular city to raise money for this particular charity. Pretty simple job. I wasn't that great at it. But I learned techniques that I was able to put forth towards the other people in the office doing the same job as me. And they were doing better. Every time they adopted my technique, they did better than me. So I don't know what it was. I guess, there's an adage out there that sometimes the worst players, you think of basketball or football or something like that, the worst players tend to be the best coaches. So I think I was kind of I was kind of like that. But in that job, the regional manager, the district manager, the office manager, everybody, and all of the assistants, everybody was female. A lot of the males in the organization were higher up, but at the lower managerial levels, my office, the office that I worked in, they were all of them female. And I would do this kind of volunteer recruiting, work, anywhere from 6 to 10 months out of a year. I take a few, have a few months off. It was kind of seasonal, so but I would come back every year and do another 6 to 10 months with them, and I did that for almost 5 years straight. And they actually went through a few personnel changes, particularly at the level where they train the people who do the voluntary recruiting thing, like what I was doing. And it's like, well, I've been here 5 years. I know some of what I'm doing, and I've been, and every time I suggest, things to my coworkers, they come off doing a better job than I am. So, next time they open, and at that, the position actually split so that they had one that would do a little bit more of the going out and meeting the public kind of stuff, and then the other one was almost solely devoted to the, to people like me, doing the work that I was doing, training them and coordinating with them and helping them and all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, I've got 5 years experience, and they were always hiring, they would hire these girls straight out of the university nearby, a lot of, sorority girls out of the, and it's like, well, I've got 5 years experience of I've got this growing experience of doing this. These people are coming in here knowing nothing. You have to train them on how to train us, and they're not saying the right things the right way, and they weren't even offering me a chance to it. Now, so it's like, are they being reverse sexist? They're just keeping all the positions, and they keep hiring women to fill these positions. That's fine. Again, I don't want to come off as sexist, because obviously the idea is hire the best person that does the job. But it's like, and it was fun to work there and all, but it's like every time I heard that the position, it's like, why aren't you asking me? Now I can think of possibly, and the only reason why I didn't, for God's sakes, if I wanted to, I maybe could have sued them, as much as it would. I wouldn't want to do that because it's a nonprofit. I like the nonprofit. I'm not going to name it, but I like it, and I support it. I support everything they do. But in that kind of situation, I think I probably could have had a good case for a kind of a reverse sexist, lawsuit if I really wanted to go there. The only thing that would work against me is a very, very simple fact that at the time I was also, while I was doing that job, I was also going to all the classes I needed in order to become a teacher. So, and they knew that. They knew I was planning on becoming a teacher, but it's like, I was kind of thinking, if this whole, I see the writing on the walls, and this whole teaching thing is kind of going downhill with all the things that was political. This was, 15 years ago that this was happening. All the new No Child Left Behind crap that was going on. The Every Child Left Behind crap that was going on. They knew that. So I suppose that's probably why they didn't hire me, is because they knew I was trying to be a teacher. They didn't necessarily want to hire somebody who would for a position that would actually pay less. But it's like, yeah, but it'd be steady. And obviously I never got a chance to be a teacher. So, if I had hired me, I might still be there and doing stuff with them, and I actually might, have worked my way up through their levels. Who knows? But, I kind of got denied a chance for that. And, because I was trying to be something else. But at the same time, they never offered. They never gave me a chance. So, and yet I was proving to anybody who was paying attention that maybe I knew what I was talking about, and maybe I could train the other people that were doing the volunteer recruiting. Maybe I could do a better job of training them, because they were, because every time I made suggestions and they did it, they came out better for it. We got more people to come to our events. So, yeah. And so, I made mention of the fact that, yeah, I didn't go into the details, and I suppose this is kind of the details that I would put to her. But she kind of laughed in my face and said, "You don't know what racism is like, you don't know anything about it." Well, yeah, you don't quite know me, the life I've led, So, yeah, I'm not you. I'm not a person of color. I am male. So, I'm white. I'm male. I'm privileged beyond belief. If only in the sense that I haven't had the bad stuff happen to me. I haven't exactly had any good stuff happen to me because I'm white and male, but I haven't had any bad stuff happen to me either. So, if you want to call that privilege, that I haven't had any negative effects, because outside of those two things that I just pointed out, then yeah, I know nothing of it. But at the same time, yeah, I have tasted it. If even on a small level, I have been there. I have felt it. I know what it is like. So, anyway, I just wanted to kind of get that on my chest. So, while I'm at it here, whoops, let's not cover up the camera here, but yeah, there's nice, clear Southern California day. If you can see out there, those are the Channel Islands off the coast here, and the surf is up. Nice choppy waters here. We are just down the coast a bit, south and east of the famous Rincon Beach. So, yeah, and those are the Channel Islands off the coast of Santa Barbara and Ventura. So, yeah. So, whoops. Hopefully you guys are able to see all that. And yeah, I think that'll close this out. I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest and have something to say about that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to, I know it may come off sounding bad that any kind of reverse, I'm not that kind of person, but I believe in if you're gonna treat people a certain way, treat them on an individual basis. Don't try to the famous quote from, or at least a good quote from a movie, probably off of a book. I'd have to go back and reread it, out of the Gettysburg. You can't judge a group based on a few people. Anybody who judges the group is a peewit. You cannot judge a group. You cannot judge a race. Not that I really believe in the whole race thing. There's ethnicities. There's no race. There's no such thing as a race. I believe there's ethnicities. There's religions. There's ethnicities. There's languages. There's all sorts of there's people come from, and that's what makes America great, is the variety. It's what makes us different, or at least what has made us different historically. A lot of people, a lot of countries are now starting to experience the intermixing, of the various ethnicities all across. Europe is starting to deal with it pretty much for the first time. A lot of other countries are starting to deal with it. People from other places of the world coming to live in their countries. And they're having to cope with that. We in America have been coping with it for the past 200 some years. And we're still not that great with it. So, yeah. Anyway, so I had that little exchange with her, and don't judge me based on the fact that I have been judged by others unfairly. And I just happen to fall within in the quote unquote majority. Well, yes and no. when you're a majority, quote unquote majority person surrounded by other minority, quote unquote minority people, you can feel some of that white privilege goes away. Some of that white male privilege goes away real fast once you find yourself in the middle of people who are not white or not male or both. So, it can come back and bite you. And I felt that sting at least on 2 occasions that I can go right to and immediately name. So, and it is what it is. You can sit there and you can be bitter about it, and at the same time as I can say it was for this reason, I can also at the same time acknowledge that other reasons may be a factor, and also all of them valid. So anyway, I'm just babbling now, so I'm gonna getting into town here. I'm gonna cut this short, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. You know, leave a comment if you like. If you're mean to me, I may not respond to it. You know, if you're just gonna give me more of what she gave me, then you know. But you know, tell me your tales as well if you know. But anyway, just wanted to say that. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay strange. Bye.